Are you still looking at me? Are you still looking at me?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, your boy Q, or Mr. Thursday X47 if you want to talk about weekly pick'ems, fantasy NFL. But I'm back with your week 4 NFL picks of 2018. Now, week 3, I had an abysmal week. I must say, it was interesting. Now, when I chose every team to make an upset, all my upset teams won. But on the other hand, the teams that I chose that were like your given winners, who would have thought the Patriots would lose? I mean, what in the heck is going on? Or even the Minnesota Vikings lose to Buffalo. I mean, that just never happens. That would never happen. So, as you can see, my picks were a little off that week. But I'm going to make it up to you guys this week. This week, I'm going to have a lot of other spoilers and pretty much a given wins and loss record. So, I'm also, if you don't know who I am, I'm the guy who picks the picks. You know what I mean? I'm the guy who does it for all the people who want to win the money. So, I also, if you do a fantasy leagues, I also do a lot of, I do a player from each team or a player from the winning team that's going to do crazy in your fantasy league. So, stay tuned for that after each game. So, to start it off, I'm going to start off with a Vikings-Rams, okay? It's a Thursday night game for all you guys that know. Well, it's a tonight game. And everybody's choosing the Rams to beat the Vikings. And, well, I could agree with that, but I'm going to disagree. I'm going to choose the Vikings over the Rams. I think the Vikings need a win since they got their butts spanked by the Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills. So, I will choose the Vikings over the Rams and look for Thielen to have a huge game against that Rams defense. I'm not saying the Rams are going to get spanked. I'm saying the Rams are going to lose maybe by a field goal in the fourth quarter. And they're going to have a lot of points. I mean, it's going to be a high-scoring game, in my opinion. You wouldn't think because the defenses are so good for both teams. But I'm going to say a high-scoring game for two good defenses is probably high 20s. I'm not saying high 40s. I'm saying high 20s. So look for the Vikings to win this game and Thielen to have a huge bout. Then, Sunday, to start it off, I'm going to say Bengals and the Falcons. Everyone's assuming that the Bengals are going to pull off a win here. I disagree. I say that the Falcons win this game. And Julio Jones versus the A.J. Green. I think Julio Jones is going to have a huge game. So look for Julio Jones to basically top A.J. Green. If A.J. Green is healthy and he's playing. I mean, Boyd may have a huge game. Boyd's been, if you don't have Boyd in your fantasy league by now, something's wrong with you. I mean, he's owned by 58%, I believe, of the fantasy owners. He's a really, really, really good flex position. I mean, he's averaging about 15 points. He had, 22, I think, ESPN format last week. But Bengals have a high-powered offense. I think the Falcons are going to pull off a win here, though. So choose the Falcons. Next week, the game after that, we have the Buccaneers and the Bears. This is a very difficult game because Bears have a crazy good defense. Buccaneers have a crazy good offense. But in this game, I'm going to take the Buccaneers over the Bears. I think that if Fitz is playing, Fitzpatrick, he's going to have a better game this week. I mean, he still threw for over 400 yards, but he had, three interceptions? But I take the Buccaneers offense over the Bears defense. I just assume, or I think they're going to win. I know they're going to win, but it's not going to be by much. Maybe a touchdown tops, but it's going to be an upset in Chicagoland. So then we have the Cowboys and the Lions. Both teams are awful, but I'm taking the Lions over the Cowboys simply because of what they did last week. And the Cowboys are not good because they're riding basically Ezekiel Elliott to the ground. And that's all they have is Elliott. So, take the Lions. If you're looking for a fantasy pick on this one, you might have to go with Elliott. I mean, Elliott's going to get your yardage. He's going to get your points. So, if you have to have Elliott. Golden Tate for Lions. He's going to have a huge game. I'm not saying 100 yards, but he's going to have a decent game. Yeah. that's all I got for you on that one. If you're going up here on this game, if I have to add that, the fantasy pick would be Vincent Jackson. So then you have the Bills in the pack attack. Now this one's tough because the Bills show up like they did last week. Do they play like they played the Minnesota Vikings, or do the Packers just humiliate them and throw the ball around? Now people are saying that Aaron Rodgers might not play this week simply because he's still injured. He wants to basically skip this game and then roll into his bye week. If that's the case, I take Buffalo, which I'm going to take Buffalo anyway, because I believe that the young kid is gonna, he's something special. Young kid meaning Allen, the quarterback for the Bills. He's something special, and their defense has been solid. So I look for the Bills to beat the Packers. If McCoy plays, McCoy's gonna have a huge game. If he doesn't play, I am taking a certain player since he was pretty good last week. If you have a tight end, you need a tight end like a low end tight end. Take Kroom. Kroom is good. Clay isn't the Clay of the old, so I take Kroom. If you don't take Kroom, if Ivory's playing, choose Ivory for that steal of a touchdown. He's kind of that guy that's gonna muscle it in the touchdown zone. So take Ivory. Then we have the Texans and the Colts. Do the Colts win against the Texans? Do the Texans finally get their first win? This is a tough match. This is very, very difficult. I'm going to take the Texans to get their first win over the Colts and look for Lamar Miller to have a crazy good game. So look for that, fantasy players. Then we have the Jets and the Jags. Jags need a win here. They got embarrassed last week. Their defense is really, really good, but their offense just went to crap. Look for the Jags to be special this week. As for the fantasy pick, hard to pick anybody from that Jets side because their defense is so good for the Jaguars. But for the Jaguars, Fournette. If playing, Fournette will be something special. Pretty much that's it. Just Fournette. Just a run, gun. Then we have the Pats and the Dolphins, the 3-0 Dolphins against the Patriots. Well, I'm taking the Patriots to finally give the loss to the Dolphins. The Dolphins aren't that good. Tannehill's is being lucky, but the Patriots are the Patriots. They show up and then the Gronk goes Gronk on your face. So yeah, choose the Patriots to win this game. And look for Gronkowski to have a huge game as well. Then we have the Eagles and the Titans. Eagles, absolutely. Titans aren't that good at all. Mariota, just what the heck is going on with this whole situation with quarterback? I'm not saying the Eagles are good. I'm a big Eagles fan. Check it out. But they're better than the Titans. And the Eagles are a good team, but they need this week to show everybody that Carson Wentz is back and he's solid. Aguilar is going to have a good game. He didn't last week. Aguilar did horrible last week. He didn't help out fantasy owners at all. But Aguilar's going to have a decent game this week. I heard the Eagles are after what's his name? Jesus. The running back from the Steelers. You guys know what I'm talking about. They're after him. Le'Veon Bell. They're after Bell. And if that happens, you having Ajayi and Bell and Sproles and Clement. That running back. The whole running back team would be crazy. That would just be something. If that happens, then you might as well give them the Super Bowl. I'd be jumping for joy. Then we have Seahawks and the Cardinals. Well, Seahawks win this game. Cardinals are just terrible. Even though it's in Arizona, I think the Seahawks come out. I think this gives Russell Wilson more time to throw the ball. So, yeah. Seahawks win over the Cardinals. And Carson's going to have a huge game for the Seahawks, so choose them. Or choose Seahawks defense. Very key. Then we have the Browns and the Raiders. Everyone's saying that the Browns are going to finally get their back-to-back win, but I'm taking the Raiders to get their first win over the Browns. I think this is a week the Raiders finally win in the black hole. I don't think Baker Mayfield has what it takes quite yet to play in the black hole. It'd be a wake-up call for him. Look for Jordy Nelson to have a huge game with the Raiders once again against the Browns defense. Then we have the 49ers and the Chargers. I'm taking the Chargers to go 2-2. Their offense is so good, the 49ers can't keep up with that. Look for the Chargers to have a huge lead within the first half. Probably 20-something points within the first half. As for fantasy starters, the Chargers obviously take Rivers because he's just a point monster. Or looking for a end zone threat, Gates and Melvin Gordon. I mean, the typicals. I mean, look for Saints and Giants. Look for the Saints to win this. Kamara's going to have a huge game. Brees going to have a huge game. Giants they won't keep up. Saints are going to throw all over the place. Then we have Ravens and Steelers. This one's an iffy one. They're playing in Pittsburgh. I'm taking Pittsburgh. This is my upset. Everyone thinks the Ravens are going to be the better team. I take the Steelers to win this game. And not by a lot. Maybe a touchdown. That's it. Big Ben has a decent game. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's not going to be a high-scoring game, but look for Big Ben to have a decent game. And yeah, that's it. Fantasy. That's all I got for fantasy. Defenses are going to be solid for both sides. I'd probably take the Ravens defense to have a higher score simply because of interceptions and stuff, because Big Ben throws a lot of picks. But that's basically it. Then we have our Monday night game, the Chiefs and the Broncos. This is going to be a very, very good game. I'm thinking a high-scoring contest. 30 to both teams. I don't think the Broncos defense is going to hold up against the Chiefs offense. Therefore, the Chiefs win the game. And look for Hunt to have a better game this week. Look for Hunt to have a huge game. Tyreek Hill will have a touchdown. Demaryius Thomas for the Broncos will have a touchdown, maybe 2. But that's pretty much it for Monday Night Football. It's going to be a good game to watch. I'm looking forward to watching that game. Well, there you have it. Those are the picks of Week 4, 2018. If you have any questions, throw it in the comments. This is Mr. Thursday X47. Also call me Q. Looking forward to talk to you next week.